Hello, and welcome to this playthrough of Slipping Sanity. Here we see our start screen with three options: Quit, Tutorial, and Start. Starting off with the tutorial, we'll learn how to jump, that we can double jump, and that platforms are used to avoid obstacles and gain higher ground. Here's our first encounter with an obstacle. As the text on screen indicates, it'll harm us and move us further towards the void. Thankfully, there are also health pickups that can move us back. However, there are also fast-moving obstacles, which must be avoided. Thankfully, there is a fire exclamation point to warn us. Now that we've reached the end of the tutorial, we can go into level 1. As you finish levels, this will unlock newer levels. Here we see level 1, which is inspired by school. Using the pause menu, we can also go back to the main menu and click Start to jump right in. The background art style was inspired by such artists as Salvador Dali and Tim Burton. We also wanted to give it a somewhat whimsical Dr. Seuss-like style. As previously mentioned, level 1 is inspired by the stress and anxiety of school. As you'll see, each of the levels deals with a common aspect of life that can cause anxiety. Looking closer at the level design, we chose to have some of the obstacles hidden or partially obscured by the floor. This is to encourage players to replay and take note of where objects are placed. Level 1 is the easiest of all the levels. There are multiple routes players can use to avoid the obstacles. They can use the platforms, or they can just go along the floor and jump to avoid most obstacles. There is also one health pickup in level 1. Here we see the background transitioning to a better, more colorful, happy background. This is to symbolize how, even through tough times, things will get better. Now that we've reached level 1, let's jump into level 2. Level 2 is inspired by work. We have obstacles such as fired, piles of paper, and a big finger pointing at the player telling them it's their fault. The background is also inspired by cityscapes, with the buildings merging and bending to appear more like the stressful freeways that are part of commuting. Similarly, the hard-moving obstacles inspired by subway trains. Level 2 is more difficult in its layout design. Players have to be more precise. As you just saw, sometimes taking a specific route can lead you right into an obstacle. There are also 2 health pickups in this level as opposed to 1 on level 1. There are also 2 hard obstacles versus just 1 on level 1. As you saw, sometimes players will lose and be greeted with the lose screen. If they want, they could go back to level 1 and replay, or go to level 2. Thankfully, through the magic of editing, we're able to continue through level 2. Like in level 1, the background gets better to symbolize that life will get better. Here we see level 3, inspired by romance. You see, fun fact that the boxes have the name Shay crossed out on them on the top. This is an homage to our level designer. Level 3 is by far the hardest. You have to be very precise and time your jumps very accurately. Sometimes players can hug the ceiling. While in previous levels this would have provided a respite, here it's more perilous. Another thing of note is how the health pickups are pill-shaped. This is to encourage people to consult a psychiatrist and utilize modern medicine to help them with their anxiety and depression. Medication is a great source to help if you have anxiety, depression, or other mental health worries. As you may have noted, this is much harder than the previous levels. And now we have reached the end. I hope you've enjoyed watching.